From grocery giants to rubber empires, these 13 companies didn't just weather the storm, they thrived. Number 1. A&P, the Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. Picture this. It's the 1930s, and A&P is the name on everyone's lips when it comes to groceries. But times are tough. As the Great Depression tightens its grip, families are pinching pennies like never before. How could a grocery chain possibly thrive? Enter A&P's secret weapon, the economy store concept. These stripped-down shops focused on the essentials, cutting out frills to keep prices low. Gone were the fancy displays and credit options. Instead, customers found a no-nonsense layout designed for quick, budget-friendly shopping. But A&P didn't stop there. They revolutionized pricing by slashing profit margins and focusing on high-volume sales. The result? Unbeatable deals that had customers flocking to their stores. By 1936, A&P was operating a staggering 14,000 locations nationwide. Talk about beating the odds. Number 2, Texico. While most businesses were hitting the brakes, Texico decided to floor it. In an era when pennies were precious, how did this oil giant convince Americans to keep spending at the pump? The answer involves a surprising mascot and a dash of star power. Picture America in the 1930s, cars sitting idle, factories shuttered, and oil companies struggling to stay afloat. But Texico had other plans. Instead of hunkering down, they boldly expanded, opening over 1,000 new service stations across the country. It was a risky move that had competitors shaking their heads. But Texico wasn't just gambling on location. They poured resources into developing cutting-edge gasoline, introducing their premium Sky Chief fuel in 1935. And to catch eyes on the road, they unveiled the Star Chief mascot, a friendly face that soon became synonymous with quality and reliability. Number 3. American Telephone and Telegraph, AT&T. In a time when many couldn't afford to put food on the table, why did millions of Americans still find room in their budgets for a telephone? The story behind AT&T's improbable growth during the Great Depression reveals a surprising truth about human connection. As families struggled to make ends meet, AT&T faced a daunting challenge: how to maintain and expand its network when every penny counted. But instead of retreating, the company made a bold move. They poured millions into new infrastructure, betting big on America's future. This gamble paid off in ways no one could have imagined. By the end of the 1930s, AT&T's subscriber base had skyrocketed from 12 million to a whopping 20 million. How? They focused on making phone service more reliable and accessible, introducing new features that kept families connected during tough times. Number 4. Johnson & Johnson. When even a simple cut could be life-threatening, one company stepped up to heal a nation in crisis. As the Great Depression ravaged America's health, Johnson & Johnson faced a daunting challenge: how to maintain quality while making products affordable for struggling families. Despite economic pressures, Johnson & Johnson doubled down on innovation. In 1932, they introduced the first mass-produced sterile bandage, revolutionizing wound care when it was needed most. They also expanded their line of baby products, providing comfort to the youngest Americans during uncertain times. But Johnson & Johnson's real genius lay in making these vital products accessible to all. By focusing on affordability without compromising quality, they became a beacon of trust in an era of doubt. Families knew that even if they had to scrimp elsewhere, they could rely on Johnson & Johnson to keep them healthy. Number 5. Macys. As families tightened their belts, the idea of browsing lavish department stores became a distant memory. Yet one retailer defied expectations, expanding its reach when others were closing their doors. What magic did Macys conjure to not just survive but thrive in the Great Depression? The 1930s hit retailers hard, with luxury stores feeling the pinch as wallets emptied. Macys, once a symbol of opulence, faced a stark choice: adapt or perish. They chose to reinvent themselves, transforming from a high-end haven to a store for everyone. How? by emphasizing value and affordability in their marketing, introducing budget-friendly items, and hosting promotional events that showcased irresistible discounts. Number 6. The Kellogg Company. From parades to cornflakes? It might seem like a strange leap, but in the 1930s, breakfast became an unexpected battleground for economic survival. How did Kellogg's transform a humble grain into a Depression-era powerhouse? The answer involves innovation, clever marketing, and a dash of snap, crackle, pop. As families tightened their belts, Kellogg's faced a tough challenge. People were looking for cheaper ways to feed their families. But instead of cutting corners, Kellogg's doubled down on quality and innovation. They introduced Rice Krispies in 1928, just before the crash, and it quickly became a breakfast favorite throughout the 1930s. But Kellogg's real genius was in their marketing. In 1933, they launched the now famous slogan, "Snap, Crackle, Pop" for Rice Krispies. It was catchy, fun, and made breakfast exciting even in tough times. They also focused on nutrition, telling families that their cereals were an affordable way to keep kids healthy. Number 7. American Motors Corporation, AMC. While giants like Ford and General Motors dominated the roads, a scrappy underdog was about to change the game. How did a company born in the depths of the Great Depression not only survive but thrive? The secret lies in a revolutionary approach to car design that would redefine affordable luxury for decades to come. The 1930s hit the automotive industry hard. As families struggled to put food on the table, buying a new car seemed like an impossible dream. Smaller manufacturers faced an uphill battle, competing against established giants with deeper pockets. But American Motors Corporation saw an opportunity where others saw only obstacles. AMC's strategy? Focus on what American families really needed: reliable, affordable cars that didn't skimp on comfort. They introduced models that offered the perfect balance of economy and style, appealing to budget-conscious consumers who still wanted a touch of class in their driveway. One of their most innovative moves was introducing the first mass-produced car with a fully enclosed body, enhancing both safety and comfort. Number 8. Sears, Roebuck & Co. While AMC was changing how Americans drove, Sears was transforming how they shopped. Picture this. It's 1933, money's tight, and yet one company manages to open its 400th store. What was Sears' secret weapon that turned economic crisis into opportunity? Sears had already made a name for itself with its famous catalog, a thick book filled with everything from clothing to household appliances. But as the Depression hit and wallets emptied, Sears faced a tough challenge. How could they keep selling when most people could barely afford essentials? The answer lay in a clever mix of strategies. Sears doubled down on its catalog, offering an even wider range of products at unbeatable prices. They sold dolls, pedal cars, and tools, items that families still needed, even in hard times. But Sears didn't stop there. They expanded into brick-and-mortar stores, reaching more customers than ever before. Number 9. Boeing. When most businesses were crashing to earth, one daring company spread its wings and took flight. But how did Boeing transform from a struggling aircraft manufacturer into a powerhouse of military innovation? The answer lies in a surprising shift that would change the course of aviation history. The 1930s were turbulent times for the fledgling aviation industry. As the Great Depression tightened its grip, civilian demand for aircraft plummeted. Boeing faced a stark choice: adapt or perish. Their solution? A bold pivot to military contracts that would redefine air power for decades to come. Boeing's gamble paid off spectacularly with the development of the iconic B-17 Flying Fortress. This four-engine bomber was a technological marvel, boasting advanced defensive armament and robust design. It quickly became the backbone of the U.S. Army Air Corps, securing Boeing's place as a leader in military aviation. Number 10. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. Picture this. It's the 1930s. The economy is in shambles, yet R.J. Reynolds is thriving. Seems impossible, right? But what if I told you their success hinged on a cartoon character and a slogan that would become ingrained in American culture? While most industries struggled, tobacco found itself in a unique position. R.J. Reynolds faced challenges as consumer habits shifted, but they had an ace up their sleeve: the Camel brand. This premium cigarette became their golden ticket, with clever marketing that turned smoking into a symbol of affordable luxury. R.J. Reynolds didn't just rely on one product, though. They introduced Camel filters in 1937, expanding their lineup to cater to changing tastes. But their real genius was in their advertising. Celebrity endorsements and catchy slogans made Camel a household name. Remember, "I'd walk a mile for a camel"? That's the power of smart marketing in action. The company didn't stop at clever ads. They invested in cutting-edge manufacturing, ramping up production to meet growing demand. And when opportunity knocked, they answered. In 1931, they snatched up the American Tobacco Company, solidifying their place at the top of the tobacco world. Number 11. Schwinn Bicycle Company. In an era when most folks could barely afford a loaf of bread, one company dared to sell what many considered a luxury item. How did they not just survive, but thrive? The answer lies in two wheels and a frame of American ingenuity. Schwinn faced a tough ride during the Great Depression. With bicycles seen as non-essential, sales across the industry plummeted. But instead of cutting corners, Schwinn doubled down on quality. They introduced the Schwinn Paramount, a premium bike that became a symbol of excellence in cycling. This focus on craftsmanship paid off in unexpected ways. Schwinn's bicycles became status symbols, especially in cities where cycling was both practical and stylish. They marketed their bikes as an affordable alternative to cars, appealing to budget-conscious consumers looking for economical transportation. Number 12. Woolworth FW Woolworth Company. Ever wonder how a simple five-and-dime store became a retail empire during America's toughest economic times? Well, Woolworth's success story is about to challenge everything you thought you knew about Great Depression-era business. How did a company selling items for just nickels and dimes manage to open over 1,000 stores when most were closing their doors? Woolworth's secret weapon? An unwavering commitment to affordability. When families were struggling to put food on the table, Woolworths offered a lifeline with its rock-bottom prices. But keeping costs low during economic turmoil was no easy feat. The company had to get creative, constantly seeking out new suppliers and negotiating better deals to maintain their famous five-and-dime pricing. But Woolworths wasn't just about cheap trinkets. Their stores became community hubs, offering everything from household goods to personal care products. People flocked to Woolworths not just to shop, but to socialize and escape the hardships of daily life. The store's lunch counters became iconic gathering spots, serving up affordable meals and a side of camaraderie. Number 13. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. When the auto industry hit the skids during the Great Depression, Goodyear found itself in a sticky situation. With fewer cars rolling off assembly lines, who'd need new tires? But this rubber giant wasn't about to let a little economic crisis deflate their ambitions. Goodyear's secret? They didn't put all their eggs in one basket or all their rubber in one tire. While car sales plummeted, they branched out into other rubber products. Suddenly, Goodyear wasn't just about tires anymore. They were making everything from rubber footwear to industrial goods, keeping their factories humming and workers employed. But Goodyear didn't stop there. In 1934, they introduced the Super Cushion tire, a game-changer that offered better performance and comfort. It was like giving Depression-era drivers a first-class ticket on their daily commute.